Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
We're ready? I'm outraged that both of us are here.
It is outraging. Outraging.
You can't talk, and I can talk, but I don't want to. What? It's 10:30 on a Monday.
It's going to turn into Harpo over here. It's just going to be a lot of sound effects coming from Cation.
I can't believe you canceled a gig.
I know. That, of course, is heartwarming. Is how... Uh-oh. I moved my cord.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a classic because I talked to several people today. You'll notice I did not call you to see if I should cancel it.
No.
I called because I just did Spokane.
Right.
And
how was it?
Well, when 3 different people come up to you over the course of 4 shows and say, "You're so brave to keep talking."
Oh my God.
How are they having a good time? How is that fun?
Oh.
If I talk like this, I can keep it. If I get any energy or anything, it cracks.
Yeah, they start to feel for you. They just they want to take care of you.
Right, they're not listening to the jokes.
Fuck.
Fuckers. And
Did you feel it? Did you feel like that when you were on stage?
Yeah, it was brutal. I hated it. I liked it because it was such a great club, and the people had a good time. A lot of people said they had a very good time.
Yeah,
it all worked out, you guys. Yeah, and I did have fun, but you know, I was on this cocktail of like Dayquil, Advil, carbs, and anything that would give me any kind of energy.
Yeah,
that would just make me through the show, and then I would just shove all of that back in my mouth again when I got off stage, and then do it again for Saturday. Luckily, one show on Friday because they're building. Yeah, Spokane's a new club, so they only had one show on Friday.
Every club should be like that.
Oh, I could
Second show Friday couldn't be less necessary.
I have to tell you that I was so when they told me, I was like, yes.
Roosters is like that. Rooster T. Feathers in
just
Sunnyvale.
One on Friday,
one on Saturday, one on Friday,
9:00.
Yeah. Why have one? Why have 2 miserable shows when you have one pretty good one?
No reason not to.
Yeah.
But, it was
but the rest of you feels fine.
Yeah,
just
it
vocally,
is literally,
you've stressed out your throat. And
there are
you can't
shards
get it
of
back.
glass on my throat.
Oh, fuck.
And my ear is on fire. And I went to the doctor, and I was like, this has to be strep, right? This has to be an infection. And he goes, no, it's common cold. Common cold. And I was like, there's nothing fucking common about this. I've never, and it's been like this for a week and a half. And it was almost better on Saturday. I flew on Sunday. Sunday day I was okay. Sunday night, like a roar, it just came back. And so it's a drag. I've never had to cancel gigs, and I just, remember last episode where I had to cancel Lady Dynamite because of the same fucking thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ruining my career. You know what Maria said about it, though? She said, I wish I could find the text. Something like, you should cancel the best if you need the rest. Guess who reads a lot of self-help books? And I just want to say, I don't know. I mean, my career is pretty great, but what constitutes the best? Like Carnegie
Is
Hall?
Peoria Friday, Saturday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 shows.
And you didn't think if you rested.
Right.
I'm trying to save the gig.
Save the gig.
If we stop talking right now, and you don't talk again till Thursday.
That's exactly the exact same process I went through myself. And I was like, I'm going to not talk. I'm going to cancel because I have a bunch of sets in LA that I've also canceled now. And because I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. I was thinking about canceling this. I may not do tomorrow night just because. But next week I have to go. The week that this drops, I'll go. I'm going to Canada to do TV. So I need my voice.
That, yeah.
For Canadian TV, you guys.
Are you going to be in New York at all?
No. I'm going to Winnipeg. I'm going nowhere near anywhere.
Yeah.
super. Cancel the best if you need the rest. And is the slogan.
I've never been to Peoria, but I hear it's the best.
It's pretty great. Actually, I like Peoria, and
I know. I hear it's a good gig.
it's a really good gig. And I only, like probably 4 years ago, I featured for Bamford there. And it's right next to a strip club, which is dumb and hilarious. It's on a weird, deserted, like cow tipping kind of highway road. But Kindler was telling me there's a good pour over coffee place.
Well, you only need one. That
only
makes
need
a
one.
city.
I have said that so many times. You got to find, like, you moved to Omaha, let's say. My brother
Right.
moved to Omaha a couple of years ago. And he said, what's Omaha like? And I was like, there's probably 200 people you want to know in Omaha. All you got to do is spend a couple of years finding them.
Yeah.
You find 12 of them, your life, you could live with those 12 people forever.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm not moving to Omaha. You did not sell me. But you know,
But if you had to for work.
the Punchline in Atlanta was near a strip club, right?
Yeah. No. The oh, maybe.
Wasn't it across the
No,
street?
it was there's a third club, and I don't remember the name of it. It is in my mind known as the Black Club. Should I have called it Urban? I'm so sorry. There's an improv, but there's a bunch of clubs, but all I know is Joy. You know Joy L. Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Okay, New York comic now,
Yeah.
but she's Atlanta comic.
Oh yeah. I just met her. I don't think I know.
Oh
her,
yeah,
know her.
she's great. Actually,
Yeah.
she should be comic of the week. But she works her ass off and has been doing it forever. And so, not compared to us, but in life. And no
Thanks
one.
for answering that question in my head. How long? What's forever? I'll tell you what forever is.
I saw the ripple of
Since you and
question
me
go
started.
across you. Exactly.
For fucking ever.
That's forever. That's what counts. But she went to pick up a set after the, what's the thing called the Laughing Skull?
Yeah,
I
right.
was at the Laughing Skull, and she was going over the Black Club is what can't remember what it's called.
I hope it's called the Black Club.
Oh, I want you to just
Someone-
call it the
someone
Black
do
Club.
that.
And that's why the cab wouldn't come pick me up, because it was at the Black Club. But there was a strip joint right next to it. And at like 2 a.m, the cab company was like, we're not coming. And I
Really?
said, well, I'm going to have to go ask Joelle if she's willing to give me a ride back to the hotel. And luckily, she had just gone up. I missed her set. I'm a jackass. I'm the worst. Please drive me back to the hotel.
You're dying. So
I am dying.
we
It's
all
true.
are, though.
Very slowly.
I was at Flappers this weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, with Kyle.
It was Team
fun.
JLS, man.
Yeah.
And so 4 shows.
4 shows. I think the good one was the Saturday first show. It was like the audience was tight and they were fun, and I felt like I was on it.
That is
and
awesome.
then the Friday first show, there were a couple tables of assholes, and
Okay.
so it was more like just surviving.
Yeah,
you know,
just doing
and
the time.
trying to like give a good show to the people that weren't
Them.
drunk. Yeah. And then I don't, the 2 late shows were fine, but they're not memorable to me. You know, they were just
Yeah.
like fine,
Okay.
good enough.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
then, but the Saturday first show was like a great crowd.
Do you think
And
you could pull a tape out of that?
I was thinking, could I
could.
just dice it together?
I think
And
so.
send it? Yeah. Instead of waiting for me to, spend the next month doing 10-minute sets here and there, dragging my little iPhone around and taping it and
Pad. Yeah.
and hating life because I have to stick to.
And they'll email you the file.
Yeah.
So easy enough.
Yes. So yeah, that was good. I didn't realize till maybe like Friday afternoon I had done 45 in a while, in a couple months, and I was like, fuck. So I which I hate to do, but like you have to do it. I sat down and went, I made a list.
Oh, good for you.
I listened to the last 45 I had. Like
That you had recorded?
That I had recorded, and like notes, lots of
Yeah.
material. Like I'll note things I should listen to next time I'm headlining, so I just have jokes in my head.
Oh, nice.
Did all that, read. I also have written some jokes that I don't do that much anymore,
Yeah.
so I can just reread them and get. It's like there are grooves that are not activated for a little while, and I
Yep.
have to like reactivate them.
Yeah. Reactivate the grooves.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's vinyl, you guys. Hipsters love vinyl, but that's a vinyl reference. Nice one. But yeah, whenever if I stay home too long and I'm not doing the long set, you gotta figure out how to do the long set.
I know.
Yeah, it's
You got to come up with a method to to reactivate that muscle memory, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And so I listened because I went to Spokane, and I hadn't done long sets in like a month, and so I did exactly the same thing, and then just worked on.
Oh Lord, guys.
I was wondering.
Oh God.
I was wondering. This is my first time trying any of that political stuff, not in L.A. or New York, or opening for Bamford's Hippie Skippy beloved peoples.
Yeah.
And so, I found the best way to deal with them because I did them.
Spokane's a little right.
Yeah,
It's a little right wing.
it's a little wound up. It's a little wound.
Eastern Washington is not super liberal.
No, but there were some people. As soon as I just started, with the first couple of lines, there were like pockets of people cheering. They're like, "Yes, fucking get them!"
Oh, someone's saying it.
Yeah, they're
That's
like,
cool.
"Good, go." And then I saw just handlebar mustache dude folding his
Yeah.
arms, and some other banana head folding his arms. And if I get any of that, I decided by like the third show that I just address it. It's been,
Yeah.
I'm not living through 2002 again. It's not
Yeah.
happening.
What do you mean?
Remember after 9/11 and then George W.
No,
Bush?
I forgot 9/11.
You probably forgot 9/11. You were just on ground zero at the time. You and Ranazizi or whatever his name is.
Renazizi. Oh, that guy.
You guys weren't you both temping? weren't
We
you
were
temping on the 100th
The tower
floor?
fell on me, and I managed to crawl out with
Did
my
you
life.
Hulk out? Did you Hulk out?
Yeah, I
And-
grabbed Renazizi. We ran up the street.
You Steve ran up the street, and but I remember doing anything because there was all this rah U.S. stuff in
Yeah.
2002, 2003, and once we invaded Iraq, it got super tense.
Yeah.
And I remember that first fucking year, people closing their sets with the national anthem, and
Yeah.
you're just like, you're wearing me out. I might kill you.
I remember that. I did sell T-shirts. I told you about my T-shirt, right? Keont. Okay.
What? No, I don't remember that
okay.
one. What is that one?
So I used to have this shirt, and for a while it wasn't acceptable to say the word cunt. I know that's hard to believe since
What is
that's
it?
for
big now.
every comic and everyone's fine with cunt now.
Right. We've
But
taken back the night.
It
Yes.
used to not be.
Right.
And so
Yes.
And so I had a thing where there's a soft version of the N-word, there's biatch of bitch, and
that's
so
right.
there should be something like the C word that we could say. And it's Keont, and I spelled it Chiant, like
Yeah.
Chianti. And then I had it in the Coca-Cola font across
Yeah?
the boobs on a
Okay.
baby doll. Sold a lot of shirts back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so I would do the bit, and then I'd call it back at the end of my act. I mean,
you
it was
sleep at night?
fucking a structured
It's
sellout.
yeah. Talk about backing up into hack.
Oh my God,
did
yes.
Did it help with your down payment on your house? I hope so.
No.
I've told this story before as the Jake Johansson T-shirt, and whenever I give him any shit about it, he's always like, "I have a mortgage. Leave me alone. I got a kid. Leave me alone."
True. But so after 9/11, I flew like 5 days after 9/11. I flew very early. I went to
I think I was 2 weeks.
Albuquerque to Laughs.
Oh, my condolences.
Whatever. It was
Fucking hate
very
that guy.
soon after 9/11.
I would bury that guy in the sand and
it might
paint
have been
his
the-
feet with honey.
I'm just telling a story, and I don't need
I've
to
weeded
hear
off
you.
into how much that's the worst club. Then is now burned to the ground. Thank you, God.
It's not burned to the ground, is it?
I would burn it to the ground. It's gone. I'm sure it's like a
Russ
donut
Rivas
shop and
is you're talking about? 'Cause
Yeah.
it used to be owned by Ronnie Baca.
right. I didn't. Did you work when Ronnie Baca wrote?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah. It got a little crazy in the Russ Rivas era. Yes.
Yeah.
But so I did sell shirts, and I said I'm taking the profits. I'm donating to a friend of
Oh,
mine whose husband was a firefighter, or excuse me,
Okay.
not her husband, her sister's husband. She was a comic.
Yeah.
Her name's Sherry Davy. Do you know Sherry?
Yeah,
Her
I know her.
sister's husband died on 9/11. He was a firefighter. Yeah.
And so you sent all the profits to
Yeah, and I
for
really
that
did,
family?
and I put a spreadsheet out, and I said, you could download the spreadsheet. I did.
Who doesn't
I did
love a
all this
spreadsheet?
work that no one fucking cared about.
Except for that, I appreciate that you did it because people. There's so many people who are like, all this money's going to whatever.
Yeah.
I just remember being on the corner of like Magnolia and Tahunga, like the day after, like September 12th.
Yeah.
Which was, who did that joke? I think it was last week's Comic of the Week. Gina
What?
Brion did a joke about how 9/12.
Oh, yeah?
She was like, everybody talks about 9/11. Let's remember 9/12. And the premise, I mean, it ended up being kind of harsh, the joke at the end.
Yeah.
But the setup was beautiful. She was like, remember how much we helped each other? Remember how great we were to each other?
Yeah.
And on 9/12, 2001, I remember there were firefighters with fire boots taken, like, at the stoplights.
Yeah.
Because there's a fire station there. And I took, like, it was my last $27, and I was like, I wonder, I got a credit card, right? Here we go. And but I remember getting the hairy eyeball whenever I would try to do anything political in those middle 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Until I realized how to do it.
Well, I also think, if you look at Janine Garofalo, she got slammed so fucking hard for being against the Iraq War. She's like one of the few, she and Michael Moore and a couple other people were prominent, and they came at, like, people came after her hard because she's a female, okay? And
easy target.
How many death threats can you take before you just curl up on a ball and go, I'm not going to play this game anymore?
Yeah.
Like, no wonder she's not on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
the only way to get hold of her is to call her.
Yeah.
She has a cell phone.
She does.
Yeah, that is it.
A flip phone or something? Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, but it's a little different now. I think we've all learned to navigate it a little bit better. And I think the first wave of trolls, which would be like in 2000, 2001, was so shocking.
Yeah.
Or 2002, you're like, what is this anger like? And now it's like, oh, all right, that's a little more armor I got to put on, and you just expect it.
Right. I mean, I understand why, like, people who do cartoons, like web comics and stuff, who then out of the blue, or they're authors, and then out of the blue, they get trolled like hell.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the? And you're like, yeah, you're a woman on the internet, and you had an opinion, and you're relatively successful in this industry. Remember, do you know Chelsea Kane? She writes these murder stab. Anyway, she wrote this 8-issue arc about Mockingbird, who's a Marvel superhero,
right?
But she was very feminist, and the banana heads just fucking piled on her, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm going to leave then," which is fine, Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she has a much more productive life from not being on Twitter.
But okay, so let's go back to Spokane.
So Spokane is like the first time, people were wooing, and then I was getting the hairy eyeball from a couple of bastards. Mm-hmm. And I just looked at one of them and I said, you can be as mad as you want. I'm getting walked to my car. I don't care. And so I liked the confrontational part of it, where I was just like, I'm going to say these things. You're going to like them. You're not going to like them.
Yeah.
And everybody stayed for everything. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't mention it at all.
Yeah. Well, I've got that chunk.
I tweet about it, but I feel like I don't want Trump invading my personal time. Like, that's my sacred
I never mention him.
Stage time.
If I never mention his name on stage, I will take that as a victory.
Okay.
But your sacred stage time. Talk to me about it.
No.
Talk to me about the shrine.
I was talking. You seized it. You made it about you, even though you can barely speak.
Well, do you see a pattern? Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Spokane.
Great
I'm
club.
so tired. Do you know, I was in bed. My son, now he's just 2 years away from not talking to me, right? Mm-hmm. And he's making comic books, and he wants me to read it and read it again and again and again and out loud and laugh at the same parts, which I do. And it's funny, and
Good.
He wants to know why it's funny, and his legs are around me, his arms are around me, and he's saying, "I love you, Mom."
Sounds like a nightmare.
And then I'm like, I gotta go and talk on a podcast,
right? Even though he's your child, so you love it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm having the time of my life with this kid. Now I got to go stare at some lady who keeps interrupting me.
Yes. It's not that it's when a child is sleepy, they're the best because they're about to go off, you know, and you're still a parent, but you don't have to really participate that much because they're just like, it's
Where's
great.
that bit? That's a great bit.
Maybe I'll do it.
Yeah. Did you see the I sent you the YouTube thing about that camera woman?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay. It's some camera woman from CNN,
Yes.
Margaret Moth, I think her name was, but she was in Sarajevo in Iraq, and she was and she got sniped in like
Oh my
Bosnia or
God.
something like that back in like '92.
She okay?
Well, they shot off half of her jaw.
Oh, my
And so they're
God.
reconstructive. So in like '94, she's like, "Well, everything's done. Let's go back to filming the war zones."
Wow.
And she was kind of amazing. And then it was this. It's a 4-part documentary of that CNN did about
her?
About her. Yeah.
Wow.
And she's just inspirational. This woman, because it reminded me of stand up because she was like, "Well, of course I'm going to go back." I mean, they interviewed after it happened. They interviewed a bunch of. They interviewed her colleagues.
Yeah.
And one of her colleagues, who's got a name, God knows what it is, woman, very famous, reporter from CNN.
Oh,
Dark,
white, black.
I think not white, some sort
Anna
of cocktail.
Navarro?
Nope, but whatever it is,
Okay.
she's great, and she said
Joyanne Reed.
no.
She's MSNBC.
Okay, and well, whatever it was
Okay.
is she said they asked me if assignment calls me. I'm in the hospital room with this Margaret Moth.
Right.
I'm in her hospital room visiting her. I get a call, so I leave the hospital room and they're like, "Hey, we have an assignment for you in Sarajevo," and she's like, "Well, what if I, She's like, "I don't know if I can go," and then she said. And then she looked, she's like, yes, I'll go. She said if she hadn't gone, then she never would have gone again. And it feels like, did you ever have any of those, like a really bad time at a show where something went horribly wrong and you're like, I don't know if and not at the show. Like I got mugged once on the way to an open mic. Oh. And I had to take 3 buses from Minneapolis to St. Paul. And there was an open mic in Minneapolis on Monday. And then I could get up on Thursday. But on Tuesday, there was an open mic in St. Paul at an Irish pub. Mm-hmm. But I had to take 3 buses, and one of them dropped off right in front of a strip joint. Mm-hmm. And I got mugged by 3 14-year-old boys. Just a purse snatching, right? Kind
They
of thing.
just ran up and grabbed your purse.
Yeah, it's like one guy on a bike, 2 guys on foot. And then it took 3 weeks for me to get the guts to take that bus route back. And I saw them again. And one of them was wearing my fucking hat.
No.
Yeah.
What'd you do? Did you do anything?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah. And the kid went, nice hat to me. I mean, they recognized me too. I mean, it was like,
Oh my God! What a bunch of little fucking dicks.
it was really a bunch of little fucking dicks, and I was not brave. But I didn't, I was like, what am I going to
It's
do?
3 against 1?
Right. And 14 is not a small kid. They
No,
were,
but they're dumb. They have the brains of 10-year-olds, but the bodies of 20-year-olds.
right. And so I didn't want to get pummeled to death. And so I just sort of let it go. And,
Yeah.
but I'm glad I went, right? Then 3 weeks later.
I'm so irritable right now. I can't take like a Sunday, just the mother and the child. I'm like,
Oh my God.
I can't do this. I'm going to New York on Saturday or Friday night for a week.
For the whole
And
week. And you're going by yourself.
Completely alone.
That's great. Is Conan shooting there? Or is he just kind of
No, we have the week off.
The hiatus, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just do
Nice.
spots. Maybe have
Like a person?
lunches with lunch with a few friends, like
Maybe-
a person,
Nice.
and just walk around.
Yeah.
Go to a museum. I still don't know what to do with myself now that I'm not working on a side project.
Oh, right, the book.
And I realize I'm just in general mode at home. Like all right, you get your homework done. You do the grocery shopping. You guys all do this, and they're both coming at me with requests and things that are wrong and things that are broken that I have to fix and
God.
yeah, it's just it's like that's not the person I want to be. I just want
Yeah.
to chill.
Yeah.
I just want to lay down.
You should get laid.
I know.
You should really get laid.
I know.
Oh, well.
Well, exactly.
Maybe one day. Are we at 30? No.
What?
24.
Oh my God.
I suggested a bell. I was shot down by Kyle, who said, no, you guys know instinctively now when 30
I
is.
think a bell would be annoying after a while at 30.
Something annoying on this show. I'm shocked that such a thing would add to the joy of everyone around us.
I did on Cabaret last night.
Oh, did you?
And,
who was on? Besides you? Besides you. Tell me the story.
Rebecca Corey.
Oh, neat.
She had a really funny story I really enjoyed about Castaway, the movie Castaway. I was like, that's like, I don't do that. I don't talk about things that aren't me, right?
Yeah.
Or my exact life or thing. Like,
Or
just
current.
To go, what do you mean?
That's not current either.
Well, no, but it's just a pop culture reference that she sort of dug deep on,
Oh,
and
interesting.
It's like, I don't do that because unless I was in Castaway or, you know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't even occur to me.
So she
to
just
talk about
literally-
a movie from X amount of years ago.
She's like, I just picked this, and there was no analogy to anything current?
She just kind of broke it down, and then she
That's
weaved in
awesome.
another story about Helen Hunt and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it, but that observational eye where you're not looking at your life or your emotions, but you're just looking at
Yeah.
stuff that's current.
Or
I don't
something
know, I
pop
just-
culture.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't do that, and even to get on stage to talk about something like that, I couldn't muster the interest. But I enjoy when other people do. But I wouldn't want to
Yeah,
waste.
yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't want to waste my stage time talking about an album or something.
Right,
Unless
but-
it's my feeling, my reaction, and it triggers something about my own life.
Which
you
is
know?
why she's not, she does a different kind of, she's,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
that's neat that she does. What happened in
No,
Spoke-
wait. What were
yeah.
you saying that she doesn't do that? Rebecca doesn't always talk about that stuff.
No, sometimes she talks about stuff that's super personal.
Yeah.
Or something like her dog did.
Yeah.
Or a lot of set stuff. Sometimes
Yeah.
she talks about a lot of set stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that
So-
happens on the show.
Yeah, I mean, we're all sort of supposed to do a story
Yeah. Oh, right, because it's uncapped.
because it's uncap. So, but it was interesting, and I just noticed that I'm not an observational type of comic that way.
No.
And then I got a text from somebody who books a show, like a TV show that's storytelling,
Neat.
and I said, I don't think I do that.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I said, even my jokes are lies. Even when I string them, together in a story,
Right, to
it's
make
one
them-
fucking filthy lie. There's like a few true things in some of them, like the boyfriend cheating and stuff like that. But then it's like just turns into, that's the writing part. That's the part I enjoy. Of
Right.
I don't want to hit it right on the nose. I want to take that feeling and see if I can come up with jokes that are kind of separate from the exact story.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the-
weird.
to me, that's the
you
fun
write
part.
like a parallel sort of universe kind of situation
Yes.
of the thing that's real, and then you're
Yeah.
like, and what is the absurd bigger thing that
Yeah.
could have happened?
Yeah.
Or the absurd smaller thing that could have
Yeah.
happened. And you come from a place of, whereas I mostly just repeat the things that are said to me. and then I hopefully write a punchline.
But I thought I had
What'd
two
you do? Yeah.
Well, I talked about I just talked about this when I took my son into that. Did I tell you about taking him into that cow pasture by accident when I was dropping my dad's ashes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
so,
did tell
but
you.
yeah.
Did I mention it on here?
I don't tell it again. I don't remember
It's
it.
not a great story. Believe
Well,
me.
now's
Everyone-
the time.
The audience at Uncab could tell you. Yeah, you can't talk, so now's my time to tell
It's a
ungreat
hostage
stories.
situation. Please go.
So, we're in Ireland, and I want to get rid of my dad's ashes. Drop some at the ruins
Sure.
of his great grandmother, Joanna Lane in Killavullen, Cork,
Mm-hmm.
Ireland. So, I have GPS coordinates of where the ruins are from a cousin who lives in Ireland, a
wow.
very, very distant cousin who I just met via Ancestry. It's like, here it is. And they weren't around, or they probably would have taken us, but they were gone. And so I pulled up in front of somebody's house, and within like 2 minutes, the man who owned the house was running out and saying, "Are you lost? Are you okay?" Because no one stops in front of his house.
It's like, thank God you've come.
It's a very tiny town.
Talk to me.
And so
I've been
I said,
alone for
I'm
years.
looking for this. And he goes, "Oh, the old Lane house." And then he tells me, just you back up and you go down this little road, and
Which
then
might
you
be called
make a left.
the old lane.
So it was too many to drive down. So I parked in front of this little road, and my son and I walked, and we were supposed to make a left, and I could see like the top of some building. So I'm like, oh, that's probably it. And I thought, well, why instead of going all the way down and making a hard left, why don't I just cut across this field and save some time? Because it's, Ireland. You're in a hurry in Ireland. And it was a cow pasture. And so there's a bunch of cows, and they just started looking at us. And I've never had cows approach me or move, but they move pretty fast when they're interested.
You're city folk.
And these cows were fucking fascinated, and they almost ran as fast as that guy going. It's like the cows were like, "Are you lost?" But they were coming at us, and I was like, "That's interesting." And I'm like, "Oh, they each weigh a ton," and they're coming at me and my son, who's 7. So I said, "Run!" And then so he and I ran, and the cows speeded up like they were chasing us almost. And I don't know how we got into the field, but exiting the field, that's when we hit the electric fence, and we were both like
Zort.
dinged. It was like a field, a force
Yeah.
field or something.
Did you get through it? No, you're still there. No. But it was
We
not
did, but we had to like navigate. And
did you?
And the cows came very close to us, but they did because they knew about it.
Right, they knew about the force
They've
field.
done that before. And then we got out, and I was like, that might have been the dumbest thing I've ever done. And had I been trampled to death, and my son had trampled, people would have slammed me on the internet, and they would have been completely right.
It would have been one of those
American
Darwin.
wanders into
Yep.
yes, exactly, yeah. And then a bull starts fucking one of the cows right in front of us.
And did the boy go,
in a
"Mommy?"
sign of victory?
Well, just got to celebrate life.
Yeah, and so then we walked back the proper way, and then that's the end of the story. It ends with bull fucking. That's the other thing with stories. It's like they always got to have some fucking in it, right? Whether it's you or bulls or something.
Nope, but okay. You do in your stories, I think so. What I want to know is how were people cool with you dropping ashes of the dead? Wherever you were?
No one was there.
You didn't have to
There
do a
were
Shawshank
ruins.
Redemption where you put it down your pants and then just kind of shook it out.
Have not seen Shawshank. Never will.
Interesting.
I've made it this far.
You've made it this far. You're not. It's a really good movie, but there's no way to see it without the expectations being far too great. So I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't sweat.
Times passed.
Yeah, it was an option.
No one cared.
No one cared.
No one was around.
Why don't you do the comic of the week?
It's who Kyle and I worked with last weekend at Flappers, Kimry Lewis Davis.
Oh, does she host?
Yeah, well, she did.
That's awesome.
Oh, by the way, before we talk about Kimry, Flappers doesn't have a check drop anymore. You must
do
have
it
noticed
after,
that
right?
last weekend, right? Yeah, they do it after.
I did notice it, but I was like, I've been given the light. I don't see anybody doing their checks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get off. So I did not notice.
They stopped it. I mean, the check drop is normally in the middle, or say in the last third of the headliner set. All of a sudden, you notice that nobody's paying attention,
Right.
Because they're paying their bill.
It's why everyone closes on dick jokes.
Yeah, because we have to get you refocused again.
Yeah.
And it's the bane of every comic's existence. You fucking hate it. You have everyone's killing, having a great time until everyone gets their bill. And
And then they're like, oh, let me grab my bag and let me
Yes.
get my wallet out.
and they're adding and they're trying to figure out the tip and they're talking, what did you have? It's all this shit's happening in the middle, what should be the climax of the show.
Right, 'cause it
all this
turns out-
shit is happening.
That's how you write comedy. You do your best joke first and you do your second best joke last. So hopefully you're going up.
Yeah. Either way, it's super, it kills
Distractive.
momentum.
Yeah.
It sucks. And, this is like, it sucks for the MC now, but MC
'cause she has to-
sucks anyway. It's almost like just, you know what?
Flappers has
unfortunate.
that whole raffle thing.
Yeah.
So that lasts another 15 minutes anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like emceeing is just hard. It is.
It is hard. Yeah.
You do get to do your chunk up front. You get to do your 10 or 12 up
Yep.
front. And that's what, I remember hosting. That's what you live for. And then I would do like 1 or 2 jokes in between the comics just to see if they were strong and could survive on their own.
I was told not to. And
Depends.
only
like
if,
quickies.
Yeah, you could do 1 or 2 liners if, especially like if the feature had a hard set. They were like, do something, pull a joke out of your ear.
Yeah.
And then I would do it. But they were like, if there's riding out high, keep it going. Just turn it over.
I don't think you have to keep. I disagree with that sort of thing. You are changing energy from the feature to the headliner.
Yeah.
You don't have to like.
Yeah,
You
there's
don't have to
different.
worry people are going to stop laughing. You can just like kind of slow it down a little bit and retake the stage. And
That's
then
not how I was raised. I was raised differently than you in the stand-up comedy
your
world.
Midwest comedy upbringing.
My Midwest comedy
I'm from
upbringing
San
says
Francisco.
exactly. You got all kinds of stuff,
But Kimry, very very funny.
right? And it's what's her handle?
At I am Kimry, Kimrie.
Kimrie. Yeah.
I am Kimry. Yeah, I
She's
watched.
really funny Beyonce impression.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I was
Yes.
watching some of her set online because you
Yeah.
told me about her, and I know I've met her. I just
Yeah.
couldn't remember. Which weirdly enough led me to a Geraldo set.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Which
his
one?
hour 20 midlife vices or midlife.
Oh yeah. Is that on YouTube? Mm-hmm. Was it a
Hour
pirated
21.
one?
Couldn't tell. It was probably. I mean, it only had 29,000 views, so probably. And
Who owns it now? Why would Comedy Central let that go up if they still owned it?
but what I think is funny is that it was an hour 21. So if Comedy Central was it a 2-hour block? Is that what they were doing?
Oh
Maybe.
wow!
Yeah.
Unless were there credit? I mean, was it hour 21 of comedy the whole
It
time?
was an hour 21. That was the that
How
was
much
what
was the
YouTube.
intro?
It got right into it.
Huh? Jesus.
And I think that the logo didn't say Comedy Central. It said something else. So,
that's-
I think it's the uncut version.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
wow, that's a fucking long time.
It's a long time, guys. But it's not 3 hours or 6 hours, which we know comics who do that. And Gramication disapproves. Fucking
But I
wrap it
mean,
up.
and Geraldo writes jokes, so that's a lot of comedy in it in an hour.
He
and
had
21.
a chunk. He had a chunk about how that was interesting. I mean, because we were talking last week about how there's a way that there's jokes you wish people wouldn't do, right?
Right.
Or topics that you're like, it better be good.
Yeah, right.
And he
right.
was talking about how there's like sort of a it was essentially, it was just, and this is, I don't know when it was from, like 94 maybe, but he was
Yeah.
talking about the sort of the gay voice thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, there has to be a point where that is a choice.
Yeah.
He was like, that's not a choice. Everybody's human. Everybody gets to be whatever they are. And then he's building this beautiful house of tolerance and of good things. And he's like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, I mean, at some point you're just like, and then he starts talking about homosexuality in a different way. Because he was talking
Yeah.
about how his sons, he has 3 sons. And he's like, I just hope that they don't ever, be afraid to come out of the closet, And so he's got this empathy that is like a through line through it
Yeah.
that works.
Wow.
Even when he's talking, even when he's like the meanest fucking jokes about bachelorette parties from
Yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah.
And just calling some woman a twat. And you're like, well, that's not your finest moment. But but I'll tell you something.
Listen,
The-
I'm already proud of it.
the
haven't
through
seen
line
it.
though was lovely.
Yeah.
And it was but Kimry, her set was great. Her
Yeah,
set
yeah.
was great too. All right. All right, Jackie. Here's what Friday night at Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
Friday? Thursday. The MC didn't know he was MCing, so he didn't show up.
Oh.
But a guy was just hanging out, and he got to MC that night.
Cool.
It's an indictment about hanging out,
Yeah.
because then he got to go up and
It's not an indictment of hanging
not
out.
an indictment.
It's an
Fix the
actual
word.
It's
a good thing.
Yeah. It's an argument for hanging out.
Thank you. Please fix whatever I just said. Fix it yourselves. And but yeah, it was. So that guy got to do a set.
Cool.
And introduce us. And
Is
then
there
the
a
next night-
scene in Spokane? Is there like a little scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the feature was a guy from Seattle, and nice guy. Such a nice guy and very funny. I met him, Kirkland Laughs, probably 7 years ago when he first started. And he's, I think you know him, Scott Luce, Lassie. Scott Lassie.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And he's got what he calls, he does this thing about being 37. And I was like, you don't look 37. He said, yeah, I have resting Mormon face. And because he has this baby.
Yeah.
His dad, I guess, was Mormon, but his mom wasn't. But he has this incredibly baby face. That,
Can I tell you a joke of mine that Geraldo liked?
yeah.
I was on the dais at the Jim Norton roast
Yeah.
at Caroline's. And
You were or he was?
we both were.
Nice.
Yeah. That was like when I peaked in New York.
Yeah.
Or it was the start of a peak.
Right.
And then it quickly dissipated.
Right. And you're like, oh, I gotta start walking up this hill again.
It was like here the dais, Colin Quinn, Vanessa Hollingshead, Patrice O'Neill, Greg Giraldo, Nick DiPaolo, Jim Norton, Ross Bennett, me, and pretty sweet lineup, right?
Yeah.
Pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah. That's New York right there.
Yeah,
There's a
that's a
sandwich.
snapshot of 2004 right there.
Right there. Sure.
And then I said, the only reason you keep having babies is you hope your wife dies during childbirth. When I did Last Comic Standing and he was judging, he goes, he brought up that joke again.
Yeah.
I guess in the talking head part
Oh my God.
because he just had his third kid unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly. Because she kept staying with him. And I think the first time I worked with him, I might have told the story last episode, but it was at Knuckleheads and he had just
In Minnesota?
in Minnesota at the Mall of America.
Oh yeah.
And so he was so freaking funny though, but he was probably like 22 days sober.
And at Knuckleheads at the top of the Mall of America. Oh,
Yeah.
that's an awful place to be sober.
Yeah. That's a good place to not be sober,
Yeah.
for sure. And but he said that he was trying to get his act together because he had just blown through he said $50,000 in a weekend in Vegas. What? Because he got some development deal, and they gave him the check, and so he just went off the grid. And
Wow.
Sunday morning, he checks his messages, and there's a series of messages from his wife. And the last one said, "You'll never see your children again unless you call me." And I think he had 2 kids at the time. And he was like, that's what really was a wake-up call. And I was like, good for you, man. And didn't stick,
Man.
but it was a hard-
Man.
yeah, it's brutal. I have some notes.
Okay.
I had lunch with the feature every day. It was nice.
That's nice.
You
Did
ever-
you buy?
I did.
That's nice.
Yeah, because it's the headline thing,
Yeah.
to buy.
Where'd you
And,
go though? Someplace cheap? Jason's
Same
Deli?
place,
Oh.
same place every time.
Yeah.
That's my other thing about the road. I like to go to the same place and pretend I live there, if it's good, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah, me too. I like one place.
yeah, over and over. It's called the Satellite Diner,
Okay.
downtown Spokane, and it is
How'd you
open.
get there? Did you rent a car?
No. It was the club is 2 blocks from the hotel.
Yeah.
The diner is a block and a half from the club.
Life doesn't get any better.
Really doesn't open
When the
7
hotel
a.m.
is walking distance from the club, and then there's a diner. Mm-hmm. What else do you need?
Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing.
Comics really need very little.
We're a simple people, you guys. We're a simple. And it was called the Satellite Diner. It was open 7 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Oh man.
And he
Well,
was
what did you do between 4 and 7 a.m.?
me. I laid and took a cocktail. Exactly. They just hosed it off, is what I assume. There were a lot of. Who knows what the end of that sentence
Okay.
was?
Don't worry about it. I got a topic.
You got one? Good.
Did you hear the writers agreed to authorize a strike if necessary? The Writers Guild.
I did. I saw a flurry of posts on Facebook saying, "Don't panic." That's what I saw from people that were clearly panicking.
panicking.
Yeah, you're like, what?
You know, it's weird. Like I live in a protected place right now. You know.
Yeah, you have a pretty sweet
Yes.
space.
And so I've lived in the the unprotected place where you live now, right? But I've lived that too, and I know I appreciate what I have.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I don't have to panic about money.
Right, but
Or,
it makes
or
you
things coming down, like you go, or I can plan for a year from now, right? And
and this means you can't.
right.
And so you're living in a future that is a little scary looking.
Right. And yeah, it's just, and I remember during the last strike, because I was in the guild, but I wasn't working on a TV show. I was working on a website. And I just remember not feeling too sorry for writers because I had a sweet gig. And I'm like, I'm sure you've saved up some money. You have health insurance, so you'll be fine. Like, I had no empathy. So I don't expect comics to have empathy.
Verbatim, exactly what I thought.
What an asshole you are.
Even with a cold, you guys. I'm an asshole. All I'm thinking is like, she's got insurance, she's probably got a nest egg set away, and now she can go do the road.
Well,
The one thing that it affects the rest of us grunts out there is that you fucking take our weeks.
no, or I can't get weeks because I haven't been out enough.
Guess what? People take my weeks whenever there's a strike. They're like, "Hey, guess who's available?"
Oh,
and
that.
you're like,
it's not me. It's Andy Dick or somebody.
Well,
it's not me taking your week.
Well,
It's-
it might not be you
it's cele-
specifically, but it's celebrity writers.
It's not even celebrity writers. It's actor comics who also can't work because nobody can work. When the writers don't work, unions don't cross the picket line. So SAG doesn't work, actors don't work, directors don't work.
So Danny Bonaducci is taking my work. Is that what you're
Danny
saying?
Bonaducci's taking your work.
It isn't me. It isn't. It's not going to be Josh Gondelman, Jackie. Calm down. And,
So there'll be less work all around.
Yeah.
Oh God.
the only people who will benefit are the audiences, who will finally get to see those writers
Sure.
and actors that never get to see.
And we're not, the guild isn't, you know, what they're asking for isn't outrageous.
No?
It's a little piece of what you make. Like when you look at how much the studios make off of, it's like doing a door deal versus like, you know, if you get 2,000 flat and you find out the club made 30,000 on your weekend, you'd go, hey,
Yeah.
I'd like to do a door deal next time.
Right.
And it's it's a version of that of when you look at how much the studios are making off and writers are making are making less and they're trying to take stuff away, that it's like, hey,
and they're trying to take stuff away.
a little tiny sliver of the pie. We're not remotely getting the piece that your guys are getting.
Right.
Remotely.
And, right. It's like, it's when it's if they did it, if they had done it without being asked,
Yeah.
they could have even scheduled something smaller, you know, instead of asking for more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I did $30,000 at Acme,
Yeah.
Louis Lee would hand me a sweaty envelope of cash.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what he did for Louis C.K. Wow. The first time Louis C.K. sold out all 7 shows, he gave him an extra $10,000. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the kind of thing that makes you go, oh, this guy values my work.
Yeah.
These people understand that we're in this together.
Yeah.
And, you know, now Louis C.K. will do pop-ins at Acme,
Wow.
you know, or whatever. So, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's how I felt about the writers when they were striking before as a comic, you know,
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
$50 a spot.
Yeah.
It's like, I think how people, like, I think when, you know, I hear an actress saying, I made less than Ashton Kutcher in the movie, I'm like, oh, who cares? That's not really feminism. In a way it is, but in a way it
is.
if there's
but-
not parody, it's like, I'm not saying, you know, I think it's definitely harder to be a road comic. So I'm not.
It's such. It's so much apples and oranges that it's just impossible to try to compare the two. We can bitch hilariously about them, but I think that it is. I think that they both have expectations, and there's injustice in both situations where you have expectations, and then they are not met, and then you're like, well, that actually isn't fair. So
Yeah.
I know that from the outside it looks like I'm sitting in a boat of gravy over here, but and I am, you know, but I worked for it very hard.
Yeah.
and that's
And-
part of it too.
We don't know when this is going to end. So
Any minute it
Yeah.
can fucking end any minute.
seriously,
Yeah.
it really can. Like
Tick tock.
the book I wrote, I thought that would be extra extra money.
Right.
And now it just might be
The money.
the money.
Right.
Fuck. Can I just want to get ahead so that,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll tell you, this was a weird thing. One of the local comics in Spokane, hanging out, started bad-mouthing one of the other local comics after everyone had left. We're all just sitting around in the green room, and one of the local comics just started bad-mouthing this one woman comic and said, "She's not funny. She's never going to be funny." And there's part of me that's like, some people aren't funny or they're never going to be funny.
Right.
But there's another part of me that I think is a better part of me that's like, you can't tell. This could be a plateau. She could hit something. And she didn't seem funny. But the thing is, I was like, first of all, you're a dick because I don't know her. And you're kind of poisoning her to me.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
And just to make yourself, just have a topic. Sort of like the reason I told that story. But I'm being recorded. I am on a podcast, you guys.
It's important.
So,
How much time have we done?
5-0.
That's not too bad.
That isn't bad. When did you learn that you were supposed to tip at hotels? Did you know that you were supposed to tip at hotels?
I don't remember learning it.
I learned it like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, too late. Like I should have known earlier, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, a Super 8.
Yeah.
You're supposed to leave a couple of bucks. Leave a cup
course.
of coffee.
Yeah. I mean, they're making. It's like our rooms are probably the only ones that aren't filled with semen that they're
Yes.
cleaning that day.
Right, depending on what kind of comic you are. But,
Yeah.
to clean my room, first of all, I ask for nothing. I don't want them in my
too.
room.
Yeah.
I don't.
I just want new shampoos.
I want new shampoos, and maybe if I'm there for more than 5 days, I'll take an extra towel.
Yeah.
But I'll hang my towel. I'll use it,
too.
once a day. It's not going to kill in the world. And
I wonder if they get out early because they don't have to clean my room, or do they get paid per room?
oh, weird.
Because I don't want to take income away from
Right.
a cleaner. Mm-hmm. But if she can go home
I've Googled it a couple of times, and there's
15
different.
minutes earlier,
I say, yeah,
go for it.
yeah.
I don't need you to make my bed.
Nope, I can make my bed.
I like it though.
I have 2 thumbs. And on the cruise, supposedly the people would come in and make like your towel into a bird or some fucking thing.
Oh we
We had them come in. It was a 7-day cruise. They came in day 5, and the housekeeping called and said, "Hey, we got to make sure that you're not hiding bodies or a still or a meth lab or whatever." And I was like, "Come on in."
Oh, I see. Oh, that's a good.
Yeah. So it's sort of they do it in
wanna check,
Vegas
right?
too.
Oh, I see.
They just want to
Yeah.
make sure you're not doing something. I mean, especially if you're staying for a long stay.
Sure.
Just make sure that there's no reason. They're like, because they don't want to show up 7 days later, open it up, and it is a disaster. So,
Would you live in a hotel? Say you're old. You're 70. You
yeah,
can live in a hotel. Someone
Kinda.
cleans it every day.
kind of.
Yeah.
Did you ever see 2 Weeks Notice?
No.
I've bought several copies of it. Saw it twice in the theater. The last time I had a bad cold,
Yeah.
which had to be 10 fucking years ago or more.
Yeah.
I'm in New York. 2 Weeks Notice is at the movie theater. I go to see it 2 days in a row. I buy
Because you're in New York, so there's nothing else to do.
There's
right?
nothing else to
Yeah.
do. That and just matzo ball soup. That was my whole plan for the
Right.
cold. And I'm living on the Upper West Side. There's nothing to do up there. What are you going to stare at somebody with a haircut? Come
Right.
on. Anyway, so
There's nothing to do on the Upper West Side. Not if you're sick.
well, if you're sick, there's nothing to do anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what am I?
Yeah.
One time I was the 3 months that when I told last time that I got my half-hour special and I got all that money. Mm-hmm. I decided to live in New York for 3 months, and
How fun.
it was really, really fun. I tried to go to Egypt, but they were killing people, and then I tried to go to Bali, and they were killing people. And I was like, I'm going to go to New York where nobody is ever killing anyone. What?
Right.
Anyway, but I go to New York, and at one point, I had so much money and so nothing to do that I went and I got a colonic. I was like, hey, I wonder what that's like. Would they clean out your poop chute? And it turns out it's great. Nothing wrong with that.
Did you? I want to do that.
A lot of okay. Oh, good.
Well, if there's no
that was a
if
different
there's-
response than I thought I was.
There's no
I thought,
strike.
Well, right.
If there's a strike, I'm
Right,
not,
because I
I'm
think
not
it was
cleaning my
$90.
ass if
Right,
there's
right.
a strike. But
It's it really cleans out your head. Remember that story from LA Story? That's where I thought of it.
Oh, yeah,
'cause,
right.
Because and Steve Martin goes, I think they did it wrong with you. Anyway, so 2 weeks notice, Hugh Grant lives in a hotel. And he's like, my life is a lot like Monopoly, and I would live in a hotel just because it would be convenient.
Sell your possessions, or give them away. Just be done with it, and just have a little tiny life in a hotel in Luxembourg.
In Luxembourg, yes, overlooking the Danube. What river goes through Luxembourg? Any idea?
I don't know. I haven't investigated that yet.
Andy is so excited about Ireland. He has just been, and I found a really old friend of mine who lives down by Cork, but like in the middle of frickin' nowhere.
Yeah, that
And
sounds great.
So, and then the last time he was there, he went to these islands from Kilkenny. There's a ferry
Yeah.
that goes out to these 3 fort islands. And
What are they called?
Who knows? Something Irish. And he's like, we gotta go. You gotta see these forts. They're so beautiful.
I didn't do that. We took a ferry to the Blasket Island.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was kind of
Ireland seems
it's just
bigger
the whole thing. Yeah,
than I thought it was.
yeah. I would like to plant myself there for a year and just
Yeah. I mean,
do that.
it's weird that, like, my friend Maureen Fitzpatrick, she might have been born from an Irish family, Maureen Fitzpatrick. And she moved there like 15 years ago. And then her mom retired from Iowa. They're from Iowa. And she brought her mom over on purpose. And
What do you mean on purpose?
as opposed to your mom, it's because her mom was like, her mom didn't say, I'm coming. She said,
yeah. I see. Yeah.
And so it was, so we're going to visit her, and we're going to visit Andy's buddy who lives there too. And then he wants to drive around. But I have gigs in Dublin. But my friend Maureen was like, hey, the town closest to me. And then she names some town that I barely find on the map. She's like, they got a coffee shop. You want to do a show? And I'm like,
You got to do a show.
why not? I could do a Dork Forest.
Oh my God.
With
yeah.
Maureen Fitzpatrick. What's it like living inside a 4-leaf clover? I can say, or whatever.
Kyle, please get us out of our misery.
56.
Oh, that's not bad. What are you doing this week? This will be the week that I go to
Okay,
Canada.
I was supposed to be at Flappers tonight. I filled out the form. I checked that I was available. I got the email, and I wasn't on the list.
What?
I know. I guess it was a computer glitch.
Do you want all of my gigs this week? Do you have a set tomorrow, for
I
example?
don't have a set tomorrow. We're doing this thing tomorrow, right? Maybe
Yeah.
we're not.
Maybe we're
You
not.
got to save your voice.
I might just.
If not,
it
then
depends how I
we
feel.
won't have a thing. We won't have a podcast next week.
It'll be 1 week when we will be dark.
We could figure something out.
We could do something maybe Monday night because I'm.
Do you want to just play your favorite album for an hour?
I don't have
what
a
would-
favorite album.
I don't either, but I don't think music is our lives.
No, I'm so tired of these male comics, and they play guitar, and all they talk about is their favorites.
Music.
I'm like, who are
Music.
these people you're talking about? Why do you
Right.
listen? How can you sit and listen to an album and not do anything else?
Write some jokes, you
Who
fuckwit.
are these childless fucking assholes? and their hours that they listen. That's an activity, is listening to music.
Here's a guess.
It's not.
They don't have a bed frame, just a mattress on the ground. That's my theory.
know.
And you're 42.
So yeah, I'm doing Fresh Out, and
Are you on Thursday?
Yeah, on Thursday, and then I'm doing something for Anna Hassene.
Yeah. That nice lady
Anna.
named Anna.
HOSSI.
EIGH. Yeah.
No, HOSSIENEH.
Right.
I know how to spell it, and that's
Sure.
plenty for me.
That's great. Anna's very supportive.
Yes, and she's she has a show at the Lab.
Oh yeah.
And then I go to New York. Oh,
On
I'm
Saturday.
trying the last time I did I flew back from New York. I sat next to somebody who we talked about. We do the red eye. He does the red eye a lot too.
Oh yeah.
And he said he takes something called Zydex or Zyquil. It begins with the Z. It sounds like what?
Z-Quill.
Yes, something like that. He says it knocks you right out. So I'm going to try it. I'm auditioning different ways to knock myself out on a red eye starting this Friday.
Oh my God. I've spent hundreds of dollars on cold medicines, different variety of.
Yeah.
And NyQuil is the most dangerous thing in my life just because I'm like, oh, this is the best. I mean,
Just
'cause
knocks you out.
it just knocks me out. So I try not to take it, but then that means I wake up every hour and a half with a coughing
Yeah,
jag.
I try not to take any stuff like that. And my last couple of red eyes, I'm like, let me just stay awake the whole time. When I land, it's only 3 a.m. on a California time, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
But it's
You
awful.
could sleep till 1 or 2. It is a weird day where you don't
It's
get to
just
sleep.
shitty. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But you're going for a whole week, so you could stay up.
Yeah, but I get jumpy and I
Okay.
just would like to be unconscious.
And you might as well try it. Are you kidding? I've been mixing all kinds of drugs in the last week and a half. Today I've tried Korean soup, by the way,
Yeah.
matzo ball soup, and today we went for pho or pho.
Pho.
It's spelled pho, but it says pronounced pho. Who the
Okay.
pho cares?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That's how.
End it. Good night.
I'm somebody's dad.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.